Good evening, everybody that's joining us in the room as well as online. Welcome to the Convocation Annual General Meeting, or the AGM of, as our Vice Chancellor often says, the great University of Johannesburg. My name is Bettine van Veeren. I'm the registrar at this amazing university, and Convocation and alumni fall under my portfolio. We have, as part of the invitation to the meeting, and whilst we circulated the agenda, we've also included a reference document, that being the Constitution of Convocation. I want to take a minute just to thank all of our convocants who actually provided input into the document, who read repeated versions of the document. We really appreciate your input, the time that you've taken to help us strengthen that document. We're very mindful that you are very busy, so we appreciate that very much. The Constitution of the Convocation was approved at our June council meeting, and that document then formed the baseline or the basis for our call for nominations for members of Convocation members to serve on our executive committee. And I'm very honored to introduce our new president, Dr. Sibusiso Bakana. Dr. Bakana holds two positions, or he was voted into two positions. The first, of course, being the president of the Convocation Executive Committee. And secondly, he's also one of two members of Convocation who represent Convocation on council. If you'll allow me a minute, I would just like to introduce him to you, and I will then hand over to the president. Dr. Sibusiso Ruben Bakana is a senior computer vision researcher at the CSIR's Defence and Security Cluster, where he specializes in artificial intelligence and lightweight computer vision models for security and also for environmental monitoring. He holds a PhD in computer applied technology, or AI, from the Beijing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics in China. And we are very proud to say that he holds an MTech, a BTech, as well as a national diploma in electrical engineering from the University of Johannesburg. With over 15 years of experience spanning academia, the energy sector, as well as technology policy, Dr. Bakana previously also served as a senior energy advisor at City Power. He, a few years ago, was recognized as one of the top 200 young South Africans by the Mail and Guardian. That's really amazing. And in the little bit that I've actually worked with him, I can testify that he's committed to ethical leadership, to institutional transformation, and also to knowledge diplomacy. With that introduction, Dr. Bakana, President, I hand over to you.
Thank you, Prof. D. Allow me to introduce, firstly, the newly elected executive of the UJ Convocation, Mr. Werner Duvenhage, the Deputy President, who is also a Managing Director at Rio Tinto Iron and Tantinum Africa Operations. We've got Ms. Puleng Muloi, a member of the Council, who's an engineering technologist at Transnet Freight Rail. We've got Ms. Nomatlabiso Tata, a member of ESCO, who works as a national program manager. We've got Mr. Hobane Isaac Malika, member of ESCO. We found him as part of the ESCO. He's a deputy director, media liaison officer in Mpumalanga. And then we've got Mr. Tumelo Nyoi, member of ESCO, acting HOD Commerce Department Education. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow alumni, I'm taking over now, Prof. B.
Absolutely.
Then this is the convocations meeting, and I'll be chairing from this point up until the closure. For now, I'll be giving the address. Professor Mpedi the Vice Chancellor and the Principal of the Great University of Johannesburg.
That's right.
DVC Registrar, Prof. Johnson van Vulen, all MECs, council members present online. Good evening, colleagues, fellow alumni, staff, students, friends of the University of Johannesburg or the Great University of Johannesburg. As I've been introduced, my name is Sibusiso Ruben Pakana, yes, Dr. Sibusiso, and it is a profound honor to address you for the first time as the president of the Convocation of the Great University of Johannesburg. We meet tonight at a historic moment. In 2025, UJ marks 20 years since the merger that created this university, a merger that brought together Rand Afrikaans University, Technikon Witwatersrand, and the Soweto and East Rand campuses of Vista University into one comprehensive institution. The university has rightly been celebrating this milestone through official events, a dedicated 20 years of UJ platforms, art and culture programs, academic openings, and fundraising initiatives such as the Double Our Future Impact campaign to raise 20 million in honor of this anniversary. But we are honest with but if we are honest with ourselves as Convocation, we as the alumni body have not yet fully had our own moment of celebration and reflection. We have not paused properly as Convocation to say, what has 20 years of UJ meant for its alumni? Who built this convocation structure we inherit today? And what kind of convocation does UJ need for the next 20 years? Tonight, I would like us to begin that work. Let me start here. Let me start where any anniversary should start, with gratitude. Since UJ's establishment in 2005, Convocation has had a series of leaders and executive committees who have given their time, their ideas, and their reputations to build this structure, often quietly behind the scenes. We may not yet have a perfectly published roll call of every president from day one, and that in itself is something we must correct. But we do know some of the key figures whose names many of you will recognize. Leaders such as Mr. Tebogo Dicheho, who has served convocation leadership, including as president and as a member of council, and helped position alumni as a visible public voice associated with UJ. Mr. Mbali Mkhonto, who as convocation president in the mid-2010s urged the convocation to treasure UJ's legacy at a time of national and campus turbulence. Prof. Boitumelo Tumi Diale, who led convocation through the COVID-19 period and delivered her final AGM address in 2022, strengthening ties between alumni, students, and communities. Mr. Leslie Mpunzi, who continued the work of profiling convocation, anchoring it in its council and supporting the growth of alumni affinity groups. To these presidents, their deputies and all ESCO members who served with them, including those from the early major years, whose names might not be visible tonight, I want to say on behalf of this AGM, thank you. You were convocation in years when the university itself was still finding its identity. We stand on your shoulders. I would like to invite us, even in this online space, to take just a brief moment of appreciation for those past presidents and ESCO members, and also for alumni, staff, and students who have lost along the way, including those who passed during COVID, in service or in the line of duty, and our late council chairperson, Ms. Kakana, just in a few moments. Thank you. Sorry, I missed it. Okay. 20 years on, UJ is recognized as a leading African university committed to excellent and societal impact. Convocation has been part of that story, sometimes loudly, sometimes quietly, but always present. By our constitution, Convocation is a statutory body accountable to council. We represent graduates and certain categories of staff. We are mandated to promote the image and interest of the university, express our collective views on matters affecting UJ, and elect representatives to serve on council, the highest decision-making body of the university. Our executive committee, the ESCO, is elected by you, the members of Convocation, and serves fixed terms. We do not run faculties or set budgets. That is the role of council and management. We do occupy an important space in governance and accountability. We are the bridge between alumni, council, and management. Over the past months, as I've familiarized myself with our constitution, the university statute, and the alumni convener guidelines, one thing has become very clear. If we want convocation to be meaningful in the next 20 years, we have to be honest about how power and responsibility are currently structured within alumni affairs. Right now, UJ effectively has two alumni centers of gravity, an elected term-limited convocation and EXCO with a clear statutory mandate but largely advisory powers, a very active network of alumni chapters and affinity groups led by conveners who are appointed and vetted through the alumni office and registrar, often with unlimited terms of office. Both structures do important work, but they sometimes run on parallel tracks. If you are an alum in another province or country, you may interact more with your chapter convener than with convocation. If you serve on council, you may hear more from convocation than from chapters. If you're a student, you might just see UJ alumni and not distinguish between any of these structures at all. My view is simple. Over the next 20 years, we cannot afford fragmentation. The alumni body must speak with one voice, even if it has many accents. That means aligning the democratic legitimacy of convocation with the operational reach of chapters and conveners, not in a spirit of competition, but partnership. I also want to respect the structure suggested by one of our ESCO members who encouraged us to respond to your submissions in a more organized way, looking at a convocation ESCO report like the activities, alumni engagement, finances, the alumni affairs and engagement, academic and institutional matters, and elections and appointment. Ahead of this AGM, you sent in rich questions and proposals. You asked about our work and reporting as convocation and ESCO, disability support, mental health and employability, the role of alumni in mentoring and internship pathways, infrastructure and equity between campuses, especially APB and FADA, honoring outstanding alumni such as the late Ms. Matsidiso Madia, and the governance and coordination of alumni structures themselves. I won't attempt to answer every technical detail from this virtual podium. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Mpedi, and the members of the ESCO, the members of the MEC, will address many under item 7 and 8 in our agenda, but I will respond to the themes from the vantage point of convocation. Several of you, including Mr. Songezo Nyila, asked for a clearer convocation EXCO report on our activities and achievements, alumni engagement initiatives, and a final overview relating to alumni-linked programs. That request is fair. Since the last AGM, the ESCO has focused on three key areas, and I'm going to give these three key areas as part of the comprehensive that we want to tackle in our January 2026 during our convocation strategic planning, such as the establishment portfolios and ways of working, clarifying our relationship with council and structures, and initiating structured engagement with the register and advancement and alumni relations. On looking on the engagement and representation, participating in council and committee meetings, contributing to discussions on strategy, transformation, and student support. This is part of the response to Mr. Nyila. Laying foundations for alumni-driven programs, especially around employability, mentorship, digital innovation, and what we are calling the missing middle. On the financial side, most alumni-related income and expenditure is administered centrally through the university finance systems and advancement office. Convocation itself does not operate an independent bank account. However, your questions have reminded us that we must do better communication. What alumni-linked funds exist, how they are administered, and what impact they have. Perhaps we have to move towards a single alumni annual alumni and convocation summary in a way, covering key projects, fundraising highlights, and where appropriate, aggregated financial information, so that tonight's AGM is not the only time you hear about these issues. Several questions spoke to the students' experience, coordination between administration, residents, and sports for students, athletes, programs and measures to support students and staff with disabilities, whether alumni mental health professionals can support psyched and related services, collaborations with industry for internship, learnerships, and work integrated learning, and financial assistance for alumni wishing to pursue further postgraduate studies, including doctoral degrees. Convocation is not the implementing arm in any of these domains. We are not psyched, the disability unit, HR, or the DVC academic, but we are the advocacy and partnership arm. From a convocation perspective, I see three clear commitments. Using alumni networks more intentionally, we can organize alumni into sector-based panels and mentorship cycles in banking, art, public sector, science, mining, education, you can name them, health, to support students, especially those in their final 2 years, with career dialogues and industry talks, guidance on volunteering, shadowing, and internships, supporting in building portfolios, CVs, and professional skills. On the second point, on supporting an inclusive campus, we can identify alumni with expertise in disability inclusion, mental health, social work, law, and design to partner with UJ existing units, perhaps in helping them design programs that are ethical, sustainable, accessible, while respecting recruitment processes and professional boundaries. On the third one, on amplifying information and pathways, we can work with the DVC Research Academic and Advancement to ensure that opportunities for bursaries, scholarships, internships, and postgraduate study are clearly communicated to current students and alumni without creating unfair alumni-only privileges, which would breach fair labor and funding practices. Will not promise what we cannot lawfully deliver, but we can promise to be a better connector between students, alumni, and the world of work. We also received a detailed proposal concerning APB campus, further facilities, open land, water and sustainability, highlighting challenges with underutilized land and opportunities for student accommodation, limited study spaces and design appropriate furniture, untapped possibilities for industry collaboration in manufacturing and design, and the visible decline in landscaping and gardens compared to other campuses. This speaks to a deeper principle: intra-campus equity and image. If UJ is to be truly one university, then all campuses, APK, APB, DFC, Soweto, need to show the same standard of care and functionality. Convocation's role here is to ensure these concerns are heard at council and committee level, as we represent convocation in council, encourage partnerships with industry, municipalities, and funders for co-design projects, which should be ambitious in that level, mobilize alumni expertise in design, engineering, planning, finance, and sustainability to support well-structured proposal. I hope that the relevant portfolios speak to campus infrastructure more broadly under item 8 in our agenda, but I want you to know the look and feel of our campuses is not cosmetic. It affects students' well-being, alumni pride, and donor confidence. We also received a heartfelt suggestion to honor the late Ms. Matsidi Somadia by naming a module or initiative after her. I want to acknowledge the heart behind that proposal. Universities are not only about buildings and rankings, they are also about stories and people. UJ has formal policies for naming buildings, academic programs, and spaces. Those must be followed. But as convocation president, I commit to ensuring this proposal is formally transmitted to the appropriate committees and faculty, and exploring with alumni relations and relevant school what form of recognition besides the one that proposed of that honorary, probably giving some scholarship, awards, lecture, or other initiatives will best honor her contribution. In the 20th anniversary year, we must think not only about our institutional story, but also about how we remember our own. Let me turn directly to an issue that many feel but few name it. Right now, And I mentioned earlier, much of the operational alumni power, chapter events, networking, day-to-day mobilizing, sits in structures that are appointed and vetted by the university through the alumni office and registrar, sometimes with unlimited terms. By contrast, the democratically elected convocation and its ESCO serve fixed term, have clearly defined but advisory powers, and can, under specific conditions, even be dissolved by council, which may then appoint an interim ESCO. This is how our documents are written, as you see the Constitution. It is not illegal, but it is not ideal if we want alumni engagement that is both effective and accountable. My position is not that convocation must suddenly control everything alumni related, but position is that whether alumni are mobilized in UJ's name, there should be clear lines of accountability, term limits, and democratic inputs. And convocation should not be optional in that picture. For that reason, after this AGM, I will formally engage the registrar and the executive director advancement and alumni relations with proposals to recognize explicitly in the alumni convener guidelines that chapters and affinity groups operate in partnerships with convocation, give the convocation president a consultative role in convener appointments and removals, and introduce a simple annual reporting line to both alumni relations and EXCO. Consider reasonable term limits for conveners, align with ESCO terms, and develop short strategic operational compact where convocation helps set strategic themes and priorities for alumni engagement. The alumni office and conveners drive implementation on the ground. This is about coherence, not conflict. 20 years after measure, UJ deserves one coherent alumni system that is both professional and democratic. Tonight, I ask for your support in principle for this work, and I undertake to report back at the next AGM on progress. In the spirit of this 20-year milestone, I also want to plant a new seed tonight. As convocation, we'll be branding our key initiatives under a single umbrella, Tuto ke Matla, meaning in direct translation, education is strength or knowledge is power, that it must be shared. Under Tuto ke Matla, we'll focus on three initial campaign pillars. Tuto ke Matla focusing on the missing middle fund. Many of our students and recent graduates fall into the missing middle, not poor enough for full funding, not wealthy enough to pay comfortability. Building on UJ's broader 20 years giving campaigns, Tuto ke Matla will mobilize alumni giving, whether big or small, specifically towards bridging bursaries, final year completion support, and emergency study support. Work with the Advancement Office to ensure these funds are transparently governed and aligned with UJ policies. Encourage classes, faculties, and chapters to run their own mini drives under the Unified Convocation brand. On the second part, the Tuto ke Matla, looking at the mentorship and transition. The second pillar will focus on mentorship and transition for newly graduated alumni and senior students, building structured mentorship cycles by faculty and sector, partnering with career services and faculties to run career dialogues, sector panels, and readiness workshops, as suggested by several of you guys. Creating pathways for alumni to give 1 year of guidance, not full-time, but through a set number of touch points with mentees. Here, our value is not to replace HR or recruitment, but to connect people, information, and opportunities. Tuto ke Matla on the third part, broadening the UJ network. The third pillar will focus on broadening the UJ network, strengthening national and international chapters, and ensuring they are aligned with convocation strategic priorities, using platforms like Alumni Connect and other digital tools to help UJ alumni find each other and collaborate. And I hope you are all in Alumni Connect. Encourage cross-disciplinary connections, for example, engineers with artists, health professionals with data scientists, so that UJ's alumni footprint is not siloed. Tuto ke Matla is not a parallel structure. It is a convocation banner under which we will mobilize alumni energy in support of UJ's mission and our country's needs. In the coming months, we will communicate more details and invite you to sign up where you feel called as donors, mentors, conveners, campaigners. As we look beyond this AGM and beyond this 20th anniversary year, let me share a simple vision. In 2045, when UJ turns 40, I would like future alumni to be able to say that Convocation was not ceremonial, but a living community that mentored students, opened doors, and defended the integrity of UJ qualifications. That alumni structures were aligned, transparent, effective, not confusing or fragmented. That UJ alumni played a visible role in tackling the big questions of our time: inequality, digital transformation, climate, conflict, and institutional rebuilding in South Africa, across Africa, in the world. To get there, we'll need alumni who are willing not only to critique from the sidelines, but to serve on ESCO, in chapters, in mentorship cycles, in fundraising drives. A university leadership that continues to open doors to alumni participation in governance and strategy, and a convocation that remembers the spirit of UJ's founding measure, that unity is not sameness, but different histories choosing to build a shared future. Colleagues, we meet tonight in a year when the University of Johannesburg, or the great University of Johannesburg, celebrate 20 years of existence, 20 years of reimagining higher education in a democratic South Africa. It will be missed opportunity if Convocation did not also see this as a renewal moment. So, to the former presidents and ESCO members who carried the baton until now, Rea leboga, siyabonga, thank you, and baya danki. To the current ESCO, let's work. And to you, the members of Convocation, this is your house. We need your questions, your critique, your ideas, your networks, and your presence under the banner of Tuto Kimatli. If we align our structures, use our alumni networks wisely, and remain honest about our challenges, we can ensure that the next 20 years of UJ are not only academically excellent, but rich in alumni solidarity and impact. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for walking this journey with us. I look forward to the address by our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Mbedi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Congratulations to you. And the new EXCO is effectively a new EXCO, except only one. But, I mean, if you were to look at, the numbers, is effectively a new EXCO. So let me congratulate you and the EXCO. Let me not use the word new, it's a continuation. And wish you, colleagues, only the very best in this new role. Let us not say new because, and let us not say the only one because me and the registrar are members of EXCO.
For sure.
So if we talk about only one, it creates the them and us, and we are members, right, Madam Registrar? And so, yeah, we're looking forward to working with you and the EXCO, other members of EXCO, and in taking this great university forward and doing what convocations do, which include fundraising. I'm glad you touched on this important role. And of course, building and, protecting the brand of a great university. I just came back from Liberia, where I received an honorary doctorate, in you are an AI man, it is a Doctor of Science in Artificial Intelligence. And thank you very much. And we were asked to rise, those who just graduated. So I had to rise and raise my hand. And the president of the convocation administered an oath where those who graduated had to take an oath. One of the things we all had to swear was that we will not bring the name of the university into disrepute. The tone of his voice, he meant business. He said, not even on social media, when you go out posting there, remember that you are now graduates of this university. One of the important things that you have to remember is that you are graduates of this university. You will not bring this university into disrepute. That was incredible. And he presented me with a cap. And on that cap, it said, I'm a Tabanite. The name of the university is William V.S. Turpman University. He said, "You are now a Turbanite." The way he carried himself, the way he talked, amongst other things, it was incredible. I'm like, wow. This is the spirit. Sorry, now I went off everything. It was part of this, that it connects with your words, what you said, that, look, it's about protecting the name of the university, and it's the responsibility of everyone, that our convocants out there need to remember that it's about the name of this great university that has to be protected at all times. Of course, not bringing it into disrepute is something that has to be built over time in many ways, and not only today but forever. So I thought I should touch on that. So members of council that are joining us virtually, of course, Mr. President of the convocation, Dr. Sibusiso Bakana, other members of the convocation present here today, sitting here with me, and also those that are joining us virtually, members of the executive committee of the Great University of Johannesburg, members of the executive leadership group that are joining us here, Madam Registrar, Professor Bettine Jansen van Vuren, Mrs. Paladi Mahon, convocants, we're here because of you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. As we gather today, we stand at a remarkable juncture in the great University of Johannesburg. University of Johannesburg's journey. I mean, there's been a journey, a remarkable one for that matter. Ladies and gentlemen, we are drawing to the end of our 20th anniversary. This year, we have had an immense privilege of celebrating 20 years of transformation and innovation. Today, as I look at what we have accomplished, I am filled with pride and renewed determination for the road ahead. In reflecting on these 20 years, I am reminded of the words of our great leader, Madiba, Tata Nelson Mandela, who once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." At the great University of Johannesburg, we have wielded this weapon with an unshakable belief in the transformative power of knowledge. We have educated generations of leaders who are now shaping the future of our nation and our continent. We are now 1 year into our new Strategic Plan 2035. And the progress we have made is both tangible and transformative. Ladies and gentlemen, the world we inhabit today is marked by complexity and uncertainty. We face the realities of climate crisis, deepening inequality, rapid technological disruption, and shifting geopolitical landscapes. Yet these challenges do not diminish us. They call us to rise higher, to think more creatively, and to act more decisively. Our themes of societal impact and sustainability is embedded in every initiative across our campuses. Our achievements over this past year speak volumes about our trajectory. We have strengthened our position as a Pan-African university, deepening collaborations across the continent and reinforcing our commitment to Agenda 2063. Our research output continues to grow in both quality, impact, and quantity. At UJ, ladies and gentlemen, we have demonstrated again and again and again that quality and quantity are not mutually exclusive. Our students are active participants in creating solutions for tomorrow's challenges. Our commitment to sustainability extends beyond environmental stewardship. We're building systems and structures that will endure, that will continue to serve our communities long after we have moved on. Let me share with you some of the extraordinary work happening across our institution. We launched the UJ for Societal Impact project in collaboration with the private sector. where residents in remote areas of Limpopo can access essential and critical services such as power, energy, running water, and internet connectivity using 4IR technologies. This is a multifaceted project that seeks to address issues related to Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, as identified by the United Nations. Through its interventions, this project directly addresses issues of inequality by improving access to basic services. It promotes sustainable practices, especially in energy and water conservation. It addresses immediate needs while ensuring long-term viability. Ladies and gentlemen, by involving the community in the decision-making and implementation process, UJ fosters a sense of ownership and self-reliance among the residents. This project also provides UJ students with real-world learning opportunities. Another example is the 3D printing project that we rolled out in collaboration with the Department of Science and Innovation, DSI. The 3D printer at UJ can complete a low-cost house in one day. The finished house is stronger, can handle fire better, and is better insulated than conventional houses. It demonstrates the ability of technology to address some of our glaring deficits and gaps, particularly in response to the issue of homelessness in our city. Elsewhere, through the 2023 Eastern Cape Water Provision Project, hydro panels, ladies and gentlemen, were installed across 4 villages in the OR Tambo district. These panels, ladies and gentlemen, these panels harvest clean water directly from atmospheric vapor, supplying over 1,000 residents with safe drinking water where previously communities had relied on contaminated rivers. These are not isolated examples. They represent a fundamental shift in how we understand our role as a university. We are deeply embedded in our communities and responsive to their needs. This is what it means to have societal impact. As we look to the future, I want to acknowledge the significant strides we have made in advancing inclusivity and access. Our financial aid programs have expanded, ensuring that talented students from all backgrounds can access quality higher education. And I want to repeat this. Our financial aid programs have expanded, ensuring that talented students from all backgrounds can access what? Quality higher education. We have invested in support systems. Most recently, we launched UJ Digital. It is by removing geographical, financial, and physical barriers that online education provides opportunities to those who might otherwise be excluded from traditional academic pathways. This mode of teaching and learning supports flexible learning schedules, accommodates different learning styles, leverages technology to enhance engagement, and reaches many who couldn't before. At UJ, ladies and gentlemen, we have embraced technology as a tool to enhance learning and solve real-world problems. We are preparing our students not for the jobs of today, but for careers that do not yet exist, in industries still being imagined. Yet, as we advance technologically, we must never lose sight of our humanity. And I must add humility. Technology is a tool, ladies and gentlemen, but values, ethics, and human dignity must remain at the center of everything we do. This is our renewed mandate, and this shift has certainly paid off. I must preface this by pointing out that as a university, we do not live for rankings, ladies and gentlemen. But when our hard work is acknowledged, we are going to accept this with the greatest of humility. The world out there expects us to hide, and apologize. At UJ, we don't apologize for fruits of our hard work. We work really hard for this, and we invest a lot of resources in terms of energy, our hard work. Our colleagues work really hard because they believe in what we are doing to make a difference out there. So we are ranked number 1 in South Africa and on the African continent amongst universities younger than 50 years worldwide. Not 100. Imagine where we will be when we are 100. And this is according to the Times Higher Education Young University Rankings, reaching 60th place globally in the world. In the world, Mr. President, your university is ranked number 60 globally, number 1 in South Africa, and number 1 in Africa. This is no joke. And we're only 20 as UJ. In the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings, your university, my university, our university achieved its best ever performance, soaring to 23rd place globally. A remarkable climb of 13 places from our 2024 position. We remain firmly positioned as the number 1 university in South Africa and Africa. We're not going to apologize for that. This is out of 2,318 institutions evaluated worldwide. UJ now stands among the top 30 universities globally. Top 30. We have also climbed to number 2 in the world for Sustainable Development Goal number 1, no poverty. Now, to be ranked number 2 in the world for your contribution towards the realization of SDG 1, no poverty, is something to be grateful for, because we are working hard to ensure that there's no poverty in this world. We are ranked number 4 globally for SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, to ensure that there's decent work and economic growth. SDG 17, partnerships for the goals. There's something to be grateful for. Our research output remains the highest among South African universities, as measured by accredited publications. And here, as I indicated earlier, we work really hard to show that quantity and quality are not mutually exclusive. You'll see it with the people that we publish with. You see it with the citations, and the impact of our work. 82 of our researchers were ranked, in the top 2% of top scientists in the world. They featured on the list, the Stanford list with Elsevier in the world. It says a lot. Looking at the year ahead, we have ambitious goals indeed. We are not resting on our laurels. We haven't arrived. And we are not done yet, Mr. President. We will continue to expand our research footprint. We are not playing games, particularly in areas aligned with Africa's development priorities. We are anchored in Africa. We say dynamically changing, shaping the world in our future. We will strengthen our teaching and learning methodologies, incorporating innovative pedagogies that prepare students for an uncertain future. We will deepen our community engagement, because here we believe teaching and learning, research and community engagement are not, community engagement is not a stepchild. They are on par. They should move together. We're going to ensure that knowledge we create serves those who need it most. We will advance our infrastructure, creating physical and digital spaces that support cutting-edge research and collaborative learning. In closing, I return to the idea that has guided us throughout our strategic plan: societal impact and sustainability. And here at UJ, we don't just talk about societal impact, we live it, and we have proof. I just gave a few examples, but there is more. I can add Baysdorp, about our water project. I can add about the work we're doing about eye care, the work that we're doing to help the elderly see kids. I can go on and on. So what we're saying here is that societal impact and sustainability at UJ is not just a buzzword, because there are measures by which we know we will be judged, and we are ready, we can be judged any day. The test of our success is not found in rankings alone, we say. Though we are rightly proud of our achievements, we are not apologetic about this. The true test is in the lives we change, the problems we solve, the opportunities we create, and the future we help build. There is an ancient African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Over these 20 years, we have learned the wisdom of going together. As we embark on the next phase of our journey, let us continue to walk together, we say, with that unwavering commitment to excellence. As we say at the great University of Johannesburg, all excellence observed. Here's to the next 20 years of reimagining the future. As I said, the test of our success is not found in rankings alone. Though we are rightly proud of our achievements, the true test is in the lives we change, the problems we solve. The true test is in the lives we change, the problems we solve, the opportunities we create, and the future we help build. We help to build. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Mpedi. And I'd like to acknowledge the 133 people that have joined us online. While it is still disappointing, the numbers, out of more than 200,000 alumni, and then we get 133. I think it is upon this collective that we need to improve and try to expand at least the accessibility, as the Vice Chancellor was talking about, that even this participation can be much stronger. VC, congratulations on your honorary doctorate.
Thank you.
We get the wisdom from your convocant president at Liberia. I think we need to follow that line whereby we'll also do those kind of oath, because we in Zulu we say siyazidla. We are proud of this university and we need to protect it and further strengthen its brand. And on the future, you speak about expanding the research footprint, teaching strategy, and the community development as this triangle. And you remind me during the university days when we used to say we are members of the society before we are members of University of Johannesburg. Indeed, I think with the projects that you just outlined now, they are touching mostly of the rural communities in South Africa, particularly the Limpopo and Eastern Cape. I hear that in Eastern Cape, there's hydro panels that you communicate in assisting in the energy part, and the community project in Limpopo for the real world example, not only that you are supporting the community, but even the researchers in that. We really appreciate that. We hope that in item number 8, you will also respond to these questions that our fellow alumni were posing and other suggestions. I will give Ms. Mahongwa to then present the questions. And then if she can answer, I'm joking, but allow other MEC members that are online where they can answer, they come in. Over to you, Ms. Mahongwa.
Thanks, Dr. President. Can I say that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bakana. As the chair of, the president of council has indicated, there are some questions that have been submitted by our convocants, and I am going to now ask the different MEC members to just give a brief answers to those questions. Some of them the president has touched on, and some have been addressed in the speech by our vice chancellor. So I am going to, the first question I'm going to hand over to our registrar, Prof. Bettin, and it goes, does the university offer dedicated disability support programs and accessibility measures to ensure inclusion in terms of academics, accommodation, and general campus life? Over to you, Prof. Bettin.
Thank you very much. I think this is a very, very important question, and there's a very strong and dedicated, focused or focus on people that are differently able, both at the staff component as well as the student component. I think I will, for the purposes of this question, speak largely about students. We have a dedicated disability unit within the university that is a dedicated office responsible for coordinating support for students with disabilities across all of our university campuses. This really is the support spans several domains, students, lecturers, various divisions. The disability unit basically ensures that students with disabilities have equitable access to learning, to teaching, to assessments, to student development opportunities, and I think also very importantly to campus life. At an institutional level, we have committed, for example, to ongoing infrastructure upgrades and improvements that include building smart classrooms, tactile paving across all of our campuses, and upgrades also to our lifts. Student affairs also plays a vital role in ensuring students with or students that are differently abled are supported with dignity, with safety, and with comprehensive care through integrated systems within UJ residences, as well as our POSAs, or our privately owned student accommodations. And then from sports, the UJ Sport Club for students and athletes with disabilities provides quality sport participation opportunities across a wide range of sports. In terms of prospective students, when we visit schools, we specifically talk about people that are differently abled. We allow questions, we provide information, and we create awareness of how UJ can support people that are differently abled. And this really enables us to have early consultation with prospective students. We provide campus tours and so on to I think just put their minds at rest, and also their parents or their families. Just one or two very specific things. We've got individualized academic support planning and advocacy, facilitation, reasonable accommodation, accessible student format study materials, including the sourcing of accessible electronic textbooks directly from publishers. We've got various other arrangements such as extra time, rest breaks, use of assistive technologies, and so on in the computer labs where students can, in a fair manner, also partake in assessments and so on. And then, of course, also psychosocial and other well-being support that is offered through our PsyCAD domain, which I'm sure everybody is aware of PsyCAD. So I think a fairly big nutshell, I think UJ really does a lot towards people that are differently abled. I know that our Vice Chancellor also supports students in education, and that are people that are neurodiverse. There's some scholarships that him and his family contribute to those scholarships. So I think across the university, there's a broad range of these interventions. Prof. Mpedi, I don't know if you want to talk specifically about your scholarships or just at a broad level.
I think you covered it nicely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Through me.
Through you, of course, Chair. Of course, through you.
Yes.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. I think the next question also goes to Prof. Bettina, our registrar. It's still pertaining students and how the institution support them. The question in summary, has the institution formed industry partnerships to provide internships, learnerships, or work integrated learning opportunities that improve graduate employability, considering the country's high unemployment rate?
I think that is also, I mean, all the questions that we received are really good questions, but this one also, what is the point of producing graduates, a large number of graduates every year, if they, A, cannot find employment, and B, create employment? So we do have, again, an extensive work integrated education project that runs across various spheres, where we really integrate real work experience throughout all of our academic programs. So just one or 2 points there under practical learning. Students really gain hands-on experience through multiple channels. These are, for example, the law students, which practice in our law clinics and our virtual classrooms, our biokinetic students that work with real patients, hospitality students who train in simulated environments and also work in our restaurants across our various campuses, our education students who complete practical teaching, engineering and emergency medical care programs, which are also really embedded in workplace learning directly as part of the curriculum. We also create on-campus work opportunities. I think this is quite important. What some of our surveys and our research have shown is students who exit the university with some form of employment on their CVs already have got a much higher chance of actually being employed. And those range from where students are appointed as tutors, as peer mentors, as laboratory assistants, as event volunteers, and so on. So we really create space for students to build their CVs and to gain that kind of a work experience. We've got a very exciting new initiative through the DVC academics domain, which is called UJ Exit 01. This will launch next year, and this is for our final year students, where we really take them through modules. We've got a UJ 101, where we assist students to transition from high school into university, and also now a UJ Exit 01, where we then assist students to transit from a university or a student into the workplace. And included there are bridging the gap between academic knowledge and workplace readiness, developing both technical and soft skills, although I don't think we call it soft skills, but more social skills, building digital literacy and AI ethics understanding. I think that's very, very important. AI, of course, and just the ethics around it, supporting entrepreneurship and self-employment pathways, and also just helping first generation students to understand workplace culture. So I think both from entering and exiting, there's a lot of initiatives that actually speak to getting our students ready for the workplace so that they find employment quite quickly, but I think also create employment for others. Thank you, Paladi.
Thanks. Kay.
Good. Sure.
If I may add, thanks, Mr. President, thanks, Madam Registrar. Another thing that we're doing is that at UJ, we don't only want to graduate job seekers, we also want to graduate job creators. Is in the area of supporting entrepreneurship. We've got various initiatives that are aimed at supporting student entrepreneurship, including the recently launched Uniport, which is a university innovation port where students with ideas, get supported to start, businesses and entrepreneurial initiative to support their initiatives. And some of the business ideas that the students are working on, they're exciting. One that really blew me away is the students that are using old discarded clothes to repurpose them up. What do they call it? Up. There's a word that they use. It escaped my mind. I don't know this time. So they take like old jeans and repurpose them, but upmarket them. No, it's not the right word. And now they are playing. Yeah, but they take something that is low value, old jeans, and repurpose them as handbags, for example, with electronics that you can use that and even charge your phone in that, and then it costs more and it's worth more. And some already have some companies that are being supported so that they can grow. They're already employing students. We took some of the student entrepreneurs to China recently so that they can meet entrepreneurs there. They can learn more I mean, one of the students has got a company where he manufactures sanitary pads that are sold at some of the big stores. One has got an online tutor program. He employs around 70 tutors and has got 700 clients. So this is just exciting. The trick is to increase the number and have more of such kids. When they graduate, then they start these companies and grow them and create more jobs. That is exciting, and this is something that we're working on. Hopefully we can we hope that we will create new industries, because we need people who create new industries out there. I thought I should add that. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. The next question through you, Mr. President. I think I'll attempt to respond. It is about the alumni-led projects that the university has embarked on in this year. And I'm happy to report that we had 18 alumni-led events where we established chapters and affinity groups alongside some of the major events that we collaborated with industry partners and sponsors such as the RMB, Standard Bank. And in these collaborations, we did have initiatives to honor some of the pre-alumni, which is our Eugenius. We celebrated the top 100 high-performing students across all the faculties in the university. And I must say, I'm happy to report these collaborations achieved strong successes, and it's through the in-kind donations, if I can call it that, and contributions that have enhanced the reach and impact. And this is where some of the internships and learnership emanate from. So I'm going to ask the CFO online, and if Miss Daphne.
Before you ask it, I think
Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. This word is going to bug me the whole night. It's upcycling of clothes. yeah. Not recycling, upcycling.
Okay.
You take old jeans, you repurpose them, upcycle them, make beautiful handbags, then the value increases, and then we can charge more.
So it's a new word, upcycling.
Upcycling.
But they're still reusing.
Yeah, they're still
Recycling,
reusing instead of
upcycling.
sending them to the dumping site.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, welcome.
And just to be clear, it's not an alumni-led project.
Yes, Unipod.
No, upcycling. It's not a
No.
university-led project, an alumni-led project.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the CFO, Ms. Nolwazi Mamurare, just to add on some of the alumni projects that have, or fundraising or financial contributions that the university has received this year.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paladi. If you can just confirm that you can hear me.
We can hear you,
You can?
Ms. Mamurare.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. Through you, Chair, perhaps maybe it's fitting to just start off by sharing that the university annually sets quite clear targets for its fundraising initiatives. Typically over the past 3 years, we raised 3 billion rand, and then for the next 5 years, 2025 for the next 5 years from 2025, we've got a target of 5 billion rand. And we generally do well towards reaching those targets. In fact, we do reach them, and we exceed them. And alumni do contribute towards all of those achievements. Over this past year in 2025, we have been privileged to receive alumni contributions directed towards typically the establishment of commemorative scholarship endowments, various cases where these are created in honor of or in memory of them, the alumni's parents, and we value these gifts because they form a lasting legacy, directly supporting deserving students. In addition to this, our alumni have also actively participated in the university's various campaigns that we had this year. These contributions supported key initiatives such as our Double Our Future Impact campaign, which was started by our Vice Chancellor at the beginning of his tenure. And this campaign provides assistance with student registration fees at the beginning of the academic year. We also have got campaigns that go towards the support of students' historic debt. How these funds have been raised, though, they have typically been raised through the campaigns that are run at faculty level or directly through our development office, as is the case with our Double Our Future Impact campaign. What I do think that is an area for improvement, and I'm hoping that, Mr. President, with your EXCO, will be able to make some real inroads in, is the opportunity to generate funding through convocation-led projects. I think that's an area where we have been lacking a bit there. But I'm looking forward to an engagement with you and your EXCO through our development office to see how we can do that. Thank you.
Thanks. I thought you'll say Tutoki Matla, but let's wait for the for the convocants to respond to that. Thank you, CFO.
And the next question, I think, also goes to the CFO, Ms. Nolwazi Mamrare. In summary, it goes like, what financial assistance or support does the institution offer to help alumni further their studies? So over to you, Ms. Mamrare.
Thank you once again, Pelati. So while the university does not have a specific funding support that's earmarked for alumni pursuing their PhDs, we do have various forms of funding support for students that are pursuing their studies. We have a dedicated fund that we allocate through our University Research Committee, wherein there's a pot of funds that's dedicated for PhD studies. We've got funding that's available through our Global Excellence and Stature funding pot. We also have got our supervisor-linked bursaries. And I think it's important that I stress, though, that all of these pockets of funding that are available are typically earmarked for students who have a very strong academic record. But information for all of this is available, colleagues, through our postgraduate school. So if anybody is looking to access this, they are welcome to approach the school, and the information will be made available. We do not have, however, a specific fund that's earmarked for alumni. Perhaps, Mr. President, once again, another opportunity for a project that could be run with your EXCO. Thank you.
Institutional facilities and projects. I think this will be directed to the COO, Dr. Mpoti Ralepata. And the questions are in line or in terms of how the university plan to revitalize some campuses, how they improve study spaces, how they'll upgrade facilities, and how they can collaborate with industries, and how they plan to have more student accommodation developments, in a nutshell.
Thank you, Hiladi. Good evening, Vice Chancellor. Good evening, President of the Convocation, and everyone online. The questions really are in two groups. The first one talks about special planning and special utilization. I just want to pick out in the introduction, a statement is made that there is big potential for industry collaboration. We do welcome industry collaboration, and we would welcome any contributions or linkages that we can get from the convocation. But we also request that where possible, work through the development office, because we don't want our foot soldiers to be entangled. Some of our biggest allies are also our service providers. So to keep things neat and tight, it's better to work through the development office. Now, to say applies to all other campuses as well. Special development is done formally in terms of our special development framework, which means every 5 years we go through a process where we consult all the stakeholders in the university on their space user needs and what they forecast their future needs to be. Based on that, we consolidate and we develop an institutional special development framework. That's the framework that will determine which piece of land is going to be developed, which one is not going to be developed. However, there are opportunistic things that arise from time to time. When an opportunity presents itself, a business case is developed, and each case is decided on its merit, whether we can opportunistically take that case or not. So in the case of APB, if something is not already in the special development framework, if it's something that is opportunistic in nature, let's build that business case and let's bring it to management, and we will consider that and we will deal with it. With regards to whether there are certain campuses that are given preference over the other, the direct answer is no. We all our campuses, but each campus has its own dynamics. If I were to use APB, which is the campus that was in point here, this year, 2025, APB was the most hit by the impact of disruptions in water supply. We transferred over 40 million liters of water to APB this year, this financial year. It's a great cost. But also, APB is not designed like APK, for example, in terms of maintainability. When you are at APK, you are most likely to see a lot of mechanized maintenance of gardens and lawns and things like those. We can't do that at APB. The campus is simply not designed that way. So we use a lot of manual labor to do the things. However, having said that, it does not mean that everything that's happening at APB is second grade. On Friday, I was at the AW Meller Stadium. That stadium has hosted the national women's team in a FIFA-sanctioned event. It's at APB. We don't have a facility like that at APK. So the next biggest investment we're going to be making in 2026 is a 70 million rand investment. It's at APB. The first grey water plant that we built is at APB. So it's not all doom and gloom at APB. It's just that the opportunities are naturally different from the other campuses. And I still want to close by saying the door is always open. If there are opportunities that present themselves, let's build the business case, let's consider them. And when they're compared with all other opportunities across all other campuses, we'll prioritize and we will execute. Thank you, Pilari.
Thank you, COO. The next question is on research, and I think it's I'll give it over to our DVC Research and Innovation, Professor Refilwe Paswana Mafuya. The question in summary, how can the university strengthen collaborations with industry stakeholders in advancing research?
Thank you very much and good evening. VC, good evening, President and the audience or the alumni. Yeah, thank you. That is a very important question. And throughout the discussion, it has been alluded to, that collaboration is integral to our work. We believe in transdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, because real world problems require all hands on the deck. And we value collaboration with industry because it is beneficial in terms of innovation. The VC alluded to some of the initiatives that we are doing in terms of skills transfer, co-creation, reciprocity, sustainability, as well as knowledge transfer, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be an ivory tower institution that simply generates knowledge that is never utilized towards solving a societal problem. And we value collaboration beyond industry. We value collaboration with communities. Examples have been given with government, policymakers, program developers. And in this regard, and the VC alluded to the Uniport launch, and I want to emphasize the fact that that is the first Uniport ever in South Africa. No university has this initiative in South Africa. There are 15 Uniports across the continent, and in South Africa, we are the first one, and we are embracing this through this initiative. Just to give specific examples, going a little bit deeper into what the VC has mentioned, we have, for example, 28 inaugural student entrepreneurship. We have 5 student startups that are being supported. We have 10 interns. We have over 60 entrepreneurial projects, including the ones that the VC has mentioned, where students develop prototypes for potential scale-up. And we have this initiative is in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, which has handsomely provided multi-millions towards this initiative. And as we speak, we are already looking at converting this Uniport into a Pan-African hub, because UNDP is very much impressed about our reach and our Pan-African drive. In addition, we have the Technology Transfer Office, which runs a venture mentoring services program that brings together industry experts and students into sessions that assist in guiding their innovation-based business ideas. We also have collaboration with various industry sectors, including the automotive industry development center, which delivers hands-on training aligned with industry needs. We have strategic engagements such as the joint research chairs. Just last week, we launched the Gauteng Human Settlements Research Chair because there are mutual interests to develop evidence-based housing. These examples underscore how UJ leverages industry partnerships to create value for students and society and our economy, and particularly for greater impact. Public-private partnerships are definitely very important to solving energy issues, water issues, and we can never have enough of these. So it is our intention to continue building partnerships and building on some of the successful ones that we already have had. For example, the Mercitor partnership, where a rapid technology solution for COVID-19 was developed. The IMET and Gauteng City Region Academy, which transformed over 3,000 individuals' lives through training and bursaries. We also have the Arts and Culture Trust, which is in partnership with the UJ Art Gallery, supporting emerging curators and artists. And having said all this, we really want to continue spreading our wings. And I've not mentioned all of them. I can go on and on. Red Bull, Investec, Colgate, Palmolive, quite numerous examples that make us the great university that we are. But we will continue to solicit more partnerships, and we do invite our alumni to join hands with us, to connect us to various possibilities and opportunities, so that we have more fellowships, mentorships, scholarships, internships, and many more capacity building activities like trainings and postgraduate outputs that would impact our society much more broadly. So we would really appreciate joining hands with our alumni in this regard, even for technology transfer, for startup creation, for more job creation, enterprise. I mentioned, they are not only job seekers, but they are also job creators. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DVC. I think we have exhausted all the questions. I'm handing over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paladi. I get that at first there's a problem probably with regards to culture of participating in the convocation. And you'll find such lesser number of participation. But I think we need to appreciate even this lesser number because it is a voluntary participation. So while we are frustrated as the executive trying to increase the numbers, but we do appreciate the availability, the time that you use to come and watch us virtually. Probably next time it will be physically. But in that, I will then give only one hand. Then we try to respond as we can. I hope the questions will be to the convocation, but maybe directly to the EXCO, but unfortunately the EXCO also is the registrar and the vice chancellor, so it will cover diverse things. But yeah, anyone who wants to understand further on the questions that they send, if they are not covered, or any other new questions that they want to add, please raise hands. Is there anyone there online?
No, I think we don't have questions like we say, submit the questions before.
Okay. In that, then I think in doing the closing, I wanted to use my sharing skills from another side of the world. Hence, that's why I wanted to open another one. But thanks, TVC. In that, I think probably previous students or as alumni VC, there was a discussion when coming to access. And I think it's not part of this. I'm trying to summarize as you were saying also in your speech, and I think even the TVC Academy was also, internationalization was also speaking about this. But the accessibility, I think, is also relative. You can understand also in the context of our country and also how the university was established. And you'll find that probably some students, through the AP score, in the competitive level, that maybe some from Limpopo, for example, that we are assisting as the university to try to be part of the thinking tanks or the future thinking tanks. You'll find the competition with their fellows in maybe in the urban areas or in the cities is not the same. Probably in the future, as part of the discussion, as we are imagining this great University of Johannesburg, probably we have to redefine also this accessibility. What do we mean by accessibility? Not only looking at these high AP scores in the accessibility side. I'm not looking for a response, VC.
No, we can't leave it there through you, Mr. President, because it might leave a wrong impression.
yeah.
If I may,
Please.
with the greatest of respect, you will be surprised because the very same people that you think may not get access, actually, these are our best students.
Yeah.
It's such a different situation. I've got the registrar right here. These are our best performing students. Actually, at UJ is a different story because out there's a perception. I won't mention names because this is not about naming and shaming. For example, there's a perception out there that if you are an NSFAS recipient, you are a West, and I'm not saying you are saying that, Mr. President,
Sure.
that you are a West performing student, because at some other places, I won't mention by name, people say, oh, we're even giving people extra this and that to make them graduate. No, with us it's not the case. These are the best performing students. They are only crime in inverted commas is because they come from humble backgrounds. They come from, humble backgrounds. That's why at UJ we strengthen our support mechanisms so that when access is not just access, it's access for success. So that is not an issue for us. The issue is that when the students enter our institution, they don't drop out because they don't have a warm meal. And when they graduate, students, we make sure that students, when they are called for an interview, they are able to go there dressed like you with a tie. Because one thing you give students, or like me with a suit, or like her, with the blazer. Because when students prepare to go for an interview, we say dress well, have polishable shoes, and so on. But some of the students don't have those clothes. That's why we have the closet for success, which is a place where you don't have, if you have formal clothes that you don't need, you can bring them, we'll dry clean them, and students can come discreetly and shop in inverted commas, find things that they can wear and take and they keep so that when they go for interview, they're presentable. It's not about where they come from that they don't have good scores. Actually, these are our best students.
Thank you, VC.
The registrar can confirm that.
Thanks, VC. I don't want to.
It's
open
education.
For sure. I don't want to open it long, and I appreciate even the reports what the University of Johannesburg is also doing. What I'm trying to say, as we are positioning also ourselves as the African-best university, probably even this discussion we can take it further outside to show that, with the examples that you are giving, that what you are doing with these unbalanced societal problems, even the accessibility, you understand? It's not that I was saying, hey, you're not doing something. But I'm saying that this is a discussion that we need also to have it as the convocation, probably maybe strengthening towards the country and the continent. But in that, VC, thank you very much to EXCO and to the alumni that have joined. And we really appreciate that. I just want to wish you, I know it's early, a happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And I hope that after Prof B, we meet in January, probably in the next, maybe late, the last quarter of 2026, we might have a proper direction and what are the impacts that we have done. Because even some of the questions that our fellow colleagues they've asked, it was unfortunate that at least the alumni office can respond to, because we are just a few months in the office and cannot point at what we've already done. But it is a collective. I think you've heard that word somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I officially adjourn the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.